Breathing is the very dynamism that keeps everything alive in your body. It's not your ice cream, your granola. It's not your exercise. It's absolutely dependent upon the way you breathe, how you run your life. Your longevity is dependent upon your breathing. Your healing is dependent upon your breathing. Okay. Now, people often are too busy. They postpone. Oh, it's so elementary. I don't have to really pay them. Yeah, okay. You pay the price. Swami told me, he said the secret to health, in addition to the breathing, is to keep your spine straight. Don't look at the ground when you walk. Look up. I'm serious. I've watched some of you. Enjoy the forest. Look at the trees. See what's up there peeking out at you. You'd be surprised how you feel rather than slump. Don't get into it. It's a very hard one to break later on in life. It puts a lot of pressure on your organs and weakens them. That's all he said to me. He said, that's the key. Keep that spinal column upright. Not tight. You're not in the army, huh? Because they breathe up here. You don't know what diaphragmatic breathing is. They're all the paradoxical breathing. He said, when the body is taken care of, intuition opens up. Notice that. Notice the sequence, the connection. So the faulty body interferes with the cognitive power of intuition. Because when you have a faulty spine, or you're breathing incorrectly, you're putting stress on everything. And that stress interferes with your cognitive powers. So it deprives you of enjoying life more. Without relaxation, you limit your cognitive advancement. Without understanding how to, notice the verb I'm using, how to induce in yourself a sense of serenity, you're just blocking your development. And you're wondering why you're not getting anywhere. You just keep repeating yourself. In our tradition, we've discovered that our consciousness, the very source of our vitality, is not a material factor. It's an immaterial factor. But it can, as it were, manifest, translate itself into a material factor called the human organism. Your life force is not material, but it shows up organically or materially. And the life force is your consciousness, your mind. But not all of the mind is contained within the body. But it can constantly feed itself into the body within the limitations of your organic structures. If you were to lose your hearing, you don't lose your power. You lose the organic manifestation of the power. You still got the power to hear, but it's blocked because the organ is not structured properly anymore. That's why if you grow stem cells, you probably can get it back, because the organ gets improved. Got it? You never lose your power of sight, smelling, touch, anywhere, even though you can't use it in your body. It's the organicness that gets caught. You all can enhance your ability to use your senses. They are the avenues that bring reality into your mind so that you know what's going on. Most of you, I'm sure, realize that when you eat a tasty dinner, it's not so much your tongue that's enjoying it, it's your nose. It's the odor coming off the food that makes it so appealing, not so much the taste. We get it reversed. So take care of this sniffer. It's very important. And that's my lead-in. This little guy up here determines your moods. That's why you have 2 nostrils and not 1. Each side of your nostril area designates certain feelings in you. You need to shift. And if you're healthy, this nostril balance will switch 12 times a day. Do you know consciously you can switch it if you want? And that gives you the power to determine the mood. The right side is the more energetic side. These are just general rules, but they're accurate. The left side is the more restful side, not passive. Never use that word passive. We're not passive. This is the more serene side. This is the side you want if you're doing energetic work. This is the side you want if you're doing creative work. Got it? If you're busy, I'm sure you know this story, and you're really cruising along, maybe writing something or working on something, and all of a sudden, your nose is switching. Or if you suddenly look up for no reason at all and look around, your nose is switching. Your mood is changing because your body wants to balance. See, we are so dynamically put together, but not as a single sector. We have 2 connecting ones. We have to switch from one side to the other and back again 12 times a day. That's why you turn over at night sometimes in your sleep. You're changing. So if you're driving on 94 at rush hour, which nostril do you want open? Right. Not the left. Oh, it's so nice driving in 5 o'clock rush traffic. No, you want the right open. But if you're doing detail work, all of you can start to deliberately shift it around if you want. When you're doing your work, you won't hurt yourself. Your body will eventually go back and forth on its own. So you can interfere with it, or as we say, manage it. You've got to bring that rapport between the organ and your intent. Notice the formula. Organ and intent. And then do the practice. Execute it that way. Sound can affect breathing. How many of you listen to Beethoven? And Mozart, of course. And if there's a piece that you enjoy, what's the feeling you have? Test your nostrils and watch what you're going to come up with. When you have a classical piece that just puts you at ease and you just put everything aside, watch what happens to the nostrils. Sound and breathing are connected. But the nose is what controls, it's the basis for the mood change. And I want you to experiment and keep adding to what you've already starting to learn here as the basics, and then you'll get the refined points from your own experience. You don't need to lean on me. But I'm going to give you the correct orientation as our tradition discovered it. Our tradition is not inventing what I'm saying. I hope you got this one. This is important. Our tradition is, in a sense, not inventing anything new. It's helping you rediscover your own nature. These guys spend their lives exploring themselves for our benefit. They're human beings. They're not inventing things out in space or in a garden. They're going in themselves to discover their powers and trying to find out what is the amplification of that knowledge. Where does it take me? How can I manage it? And as a result, they can extend their life, they can heal themselves, they're never ill. Oh boy, how about that? They can manage everything gradually. And that's where you're going. Now, you right now know you can calm down if you're worrying, if you just go to your diaphragmatic breathing. If you give it a chance. I'm serious. Give it a chance. You've recognized that, okay, I'm tired. I'm going to lie down because I've got to get ready for the house party tonight. So you go into Shavasana and you do some deep breathing, up and down, huh? And gradually you discover that the breathing rejuvenates, takes you beyond where you were. If you practice. Your body is, in a sense, built like a pyramid. Keep that as a wide concept, not so much that way, but we have our spinal column. Here we have the tailbone. Our consciousness, when it decided to make a human body, and I don't know why yet, I'm going to find out one day, decided to take 6 levels, or apertures, if you will, or dynamic centerpieces along the spine with the nerves and create, as it were, what they call ganglia. Consciousness, in its normal way, works in and through the organic materiality of your body. Now the tail here controls your extremities going down, your legs. It also controls elimination at that region. You know what I mean. See? So your body is not mechanical. Your mind influences here deliberately if you want it to. Most people never bother. So I'm hoping you would get on the train tonight and notice how you can start to experiment with certain things. Now let's move up. We have another center here, ganglia. Got one here, one here. Now this controls water, urinary system. So midway between your belly button and your tailbone, you've got this other ganglia center. And that influences primarily the fluid systems of your body, especially your urinary tract and all of its extensions. Now let's move up to this one. This is the big guy. This is the solar plexus. You've heard the terms fire in the belly? That's a metaphor, but it's based on a fact. This is called SP. What is that? Solar plexus. When Swamiji came to Minnesota back in '69, he was invited by a physician and his wife who he met in New York. And this physician got to know, had many friends in his own field, dentists, psychiatrists, and so on. And so they came together, and Swamiji did that experiment where he swallowed a vial of strychnine. There is no antidote for strychnine. You die within 2 minutes. So he swallowed it. One doctor fainted, because he knew it was truly strychnine. And Swami's sort of grimacing. Okay, what's next? And he just stared at him. Well, what did it taste like? What a brilliant question of all these intelligent men. He said it was bitter. Of course it's bitter. But what did you do with it? I burned it up. I beg your pardon. Well, what is this called? This is the fire in the belly. He submitted it to his solar plexus. He could raise the fire, stir it up to such an extent that nothing he swallowed, pure mercury if he wanted to, burn it up. This dynamism coming from consciousness, and this is interesting, all these are powers of the mind, releasing their dynamism through the structure of the body. So the power coming from this part of your body is not exactly the same here because the structure of the body is different. But it has the root in the consciousness. When that power comes through this, it emits a sound. When you put your concentration on any one of these points, you can hear the energy streaming through that part of your organic structure. And guess what? When you focus on it, you increase its presence. So what I'm getting at practically now is, I got a tummy ache, I'm going to put my mind on that power in my tummy, and I'm going to listen to the sound, and that's going to get rid of the stomach ache. Because I'm going to utter the sound at that region, and when I utter the sound, it increases the power of the fire. I can even heat my body in the winter time that way.
So as you talked about organ and intent, that's the same concept, right, that you're talking about?
Right, exactly.
So materially, what's actually happening?
It's utilizing the nervous structure, which is affecting the ingredients in the tummy. The nerves, the cells, the juices, the digestive juices, it's all connected. It's all unified. And it's increasing that to such a pitch that it's destroying the toxins. You can get rid of your toxins by concentrating on the power at each of these centers. You got an infection in your urinary tract, you concentrate on the power. Now we go up to the heart, major center. The heart, like I say, has a sound. But this center, careful here, is not exactly at the heart. It's in the center. Next to the heart a little bit, okay? Because your heart is slightly, what, to the left? Yeah. It's more in the direct center, next to the heart. But it's called the heart center because that's what it affects. Now we go to the throat. This is one of the highest, most powerful centers you have in your whole constitution. This is where Beethoven found all his music. This is where you get some of your most brilliant ideas. This is where Monet, Renoir brought forth all their masterpieces. If you got a throat problem, you go here. With this magnificent creature that has all this power, and we don't use it. Okay, so that's the throat. And now the big one. Go up, right between the eyebrows. The pineal gland. And why do I have you meditate there? Most of you, not everybody, but most of you, because when you concentrate here, the pineal gland starts leaking a sandy substance. And it starts to form underneath the skin in the shape of an oval. And what does an oval look like? The third eye. That's where it is. And when that sandy substance gets sufficiently solidified, bingo! You will now know the future infallibly. For anyone, yourself, the world. The third eye is the secret to all knowledge. Ultimately. Do you get knowledge with these? Oh yes. But this is the highest. And there's nothing on top of the head. That's a myth. Because you're out of your body. These are all in the body, and that's what we're interested in. So there's only 6. Nobody likes me to tell that, but there's only 6. Now I got to go over them again, because now the fun starts. Here's how to listen to the sound that they make when they're dynamically activated. And they're always dynamically active, but you can activate them more voluntarily. The first one, the sound of Lum. That's the sound that comes forth when the energy is streaming there, and it's always streaming there. The next one, Vam. The biggie, Ram. Oh boy. That stirs the fire like nobody's business. I'm serious. I know a friend of mine who's a student of Swamiji who did a lot of work on Ram. He said, every time I get a stomach ache, I just go there, and within 2 minutes, it's gone. Because he does 2 things. He remembers Ram. Notice the term I'm using. He doesn't call it out. He remembers it. He concentrates here, and he sees a triangle here with a fire going up, and he submits the stomach ache intentionally to the fire. Burns it away. That's how Swamiji destroyed the poison. Now, why did I say he comes up? Is this arbitrary, this figure of a triangle with a fire? No, because sound always has a shape. There's mantras and yantras. A yantra is the mantra in shape form. And the heart is beautiful. Your journey, and we're all in it together. Huh? The sages want you to go all the way, so one day, and I'm serious when I say this, I learned this from Swamiji, one day you're going to be able to speak to them and see them. They can take bodily form. And there are 3 levels at which you can see them at. If this opens, you'll see them from your heart. If this opens, you'll see them from the creativity of the throat center. Or the third one, you'll see them from here. Any one of these gives you enlightenment. The hardest thing is to get from rum up to yum. That's the struggle. The creative one is hum. And this is, what do you think? Om. So what are we talking about? This is the famous chakras. It means circle or vortex of force. That's all. And that's what these are. They're dynamic centers. That's what a chakra is. Are there more? Yeah, you have 54 chakras in your body. Uh-huh. So what's so important about these? These are the kingpins. Don't worry about the rest. They're subsidiary. They're not that important compared to these. So as I say, these are dynamic centers in... See, consciousness is using all of its force. That's the wrong word to say. It's using a great deal of its force to come into your body in different dimensions, avenues, sectors, right? Factors, whatever term you want to use. And it says, as I come in through rum, I'm going to affect reality, you, the world around you, in terms of the constitution of this structure. So there's a wedding here, a joining, yoga joining, of how the dynamic fire of the solar plexus weds with the power of consciousness coming through that structure. So the fire of the solar plexus is only found here because that's how your digestive system, your solar plexus is set up. It's not set up the way your throat is. So it's one power. This is important. But it comes in multiple ways into life through your body. And that's why Swami said your body is a shrine. And your consciousness is the dweller. And the consciousness dwells in different ways in the body. One consciousness. Manifesting itself in 6 major ways. So consciousness in one sense is very simple. It's just one. And it says, well, I want to come in a multiple way. Boom, boom, boom. Same consciousness. But what makes the difference is the structure of the body. Put it this way. You've got electricity, right? It comes through the light bulb. It comes through your computer. Right? 2 different ways. One electricity though. Same electricity. Incandescent lamp, fluorescent lamp, your computer. It runs your vacuum cleaner. Huh? It can run through the structure that's made to allow it to manifest. All you're doing at each level is allowing the power of consciousness to come through in a particular mode or way. That's all it is. These are modes of consciousness to reconstitute the harmony. Like I said, you got a tummy ache? Rum, rum, rum. But you don't say it out loud. The power is never out loud. It's internal. You remember it. It's subtle. Now, there's another way. Because you see, some of you people, do you ever notice this about people? Some people are inclined to sound, but others, you can visualize it, get the same impact. Or you can combine them. Oh boy.
Combine them, yeah.
So either way, if you got a stomach ache, imagine the triangle going up towards the peak. The point is at the sternum. The baseline is at the navel. It comes up this way and the fire rises. Visualize that. Throw in your pain. Relax. Now, I got to show you how to set up, because now you've got to put in all the shrine. And how you do that? Through breathing. You have to be at ease. Your yoga. So you keep the breathing going diaphragmatically, nice and steady. You visualize the fire. Don't worry about being precise. You don't get hung up on the visionary structure. Just imagine whatever you like. It'll come to you. And then simply make the intention. Submit the pain to that vision. And just hold on to it as much as you can. It'll go in and out. That's normal. And just do it for a few minutes. And watch what happens. The more you practice, you know the result. You get better and better, smoother, faster. Like my friend, in less than 2 minutes he can get rid of all his stomach aches. But he had to get there, huh? It took him a while.